The time is just gone 9:45 a.m. as we continue with news and views this morning, and the big international story that has been breaking out has been the resignation of the UK Prime Minister Liz Truss, and there are talks of rebellion within the party. Liz Truss, who actually called herself a Zionist, and also at the same time saying that she is not a quitter. But this is now the shortest time frame that a British Prime Minister has served a term of office, just over 6 weeks after she was appointed. We're going across to the UK to be joined by journalist and political analyst based in the UK, Yousef Al-Helou. Yousef, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome.
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you for having me.
Yes, so wonderful you're able to join us, and I'm not too sure how much as a surprise this has actually come, considering the turmoil within the Conservative Party in particular. We know what had happened with Boris Johnson, and now Liz Truss, just over 6 weeks after being appointed as the Prime Minister, she has now resigned.
Well, yes, it was expected from day one that she lacks the proper experience in the leadership of the Conservative Party. And we saw what happened with the disastrous mini budget plan. She was not able to revive or tackle the living costs, and also she fired her finance budget. And under pressure, yesterday she was forced to resign, and it's clearly because she is not able to handle the situation. There are so many crises, but what is evident is now the Conservative Party lost its image, and there are calls for the Labour Party to be in charge, and there are calls for general elections. There are calls for the dissolution of the parliament in order for early elections to take place. The situation is, it's silly when it comes to getting Boris Johnson again. There are calls for Boris Johnson to come back to the scene. So the whole thing is chaos. But if we talk about the other things to do with Liz Truss, of course, she is pro-Zionist. She said clearly when she won the leadership of the Conservative Party that she supports Israel's right to exist, and the Palestinian side were kind of outrageous because they expected the leader of the Conservative Party or the Prime Minister at least to be fair when it comes to the struggle and suffering of Palestinians.
Yusuf, what this is actually telling us with the resignation of Liz Truss and also prior to that Boris Johnson, that there is a leadership problem within the UK, within the political establishment and the Conservative Party in particular, where we see that there is a total absence of political, I would say, maturity or leadership maturity. And this is the reason why Britain is actually, and the United Kingdom is in a crisis situation.
Well, this is politics. Um, Leaders in the Conservative Party, they don't want to be held accountable for any mistake. And we know what happened with the Brexit when it was called first by the predecessor of Boris Johnson, and also uh, the prime minister who came after that, and with Boris Johnson who was able to do Brexit. So it seems every prime minister doesn't want to be held accountable for the mistakes and for the crises caused by the lack of leadership. And there are many problems to do with the security inside the UK, the consequences of Brexit, the relationship between Europe and the UK. Um, So people are now turning their eyes to the Labour Party, and they say, we need a proper leader to make sure the UK is surviving these turmoils.
The name Rishi Sunak is obviously being thrown about, and also the with Boris Johnson, the thoughts of him making a comeback. Just what are your thoughts on both Rishi and Boris?
Well, Sir Rishi Sunak was um, uh, finance minister during the rule of Boris Johnson. They are good allies, good colleagues. He was able to bail out the economy during the corona lockdown, and he is one of the names, the candidates who might lead the Conservative Party after Boris Johnson, and also the leader of the House of Commons. She's a lady, because he proved to be an expert. He was able to deal with the severe consequences of COVID-19 for almost 2 years, and he has leadership charisma. So he could be the one temporary, because the uh, current leadership of the Conservative Party uh, will expire in December 2024. So there is around 1 year and a half, and he could be the one who at least improves the image of the Conservative Party.
Yes. Now, with the Labour Party calling for elections, what is the likelihood of that happening, Yusuf?
I don't think Truss will please Starmer, the leader of the Labour Party, and dissolve the parliament to hold the elections. Uh, but he said that we don't want temporary solutions. It's like stitches. You are trying to um, deal with the situation, but it's not going to be fruitful or a solid solution. Um, it's not possible at the moment, because if that happens, this means the Conservative Party will lose, and I don't think they will have a chance to come back to the scene, because this will be considered as weakness sign if they dissolve the parliament. So they hope with the new candidate, hopefully Boris Johnson, they might be able to increase the popularity of the Conservative Party. But also, people in the UK here, they know that there is corruption scandals within members of the Conservative Party. Millions and billions of pounds were wasted, were invested in the wrong place. So I don't think they will give the Labour Party this credit and dissolve the parliament.
Yes, and obviously Britain at this point in time at a crossroads, and considering, where Britain is, where the British people are, the economic challenges that the country is faced with, and at the same time looking at now a leadership crisis. Yusuf, we've seen obviously with the death of the Queen, we've got a new monarch now. We see a new monarch in the UK, and now we have on the political front. We have all these other challenges that the UK is faced with. So clearly, these are challenging times for Britain as a nation.
Yeah, true. As I said, when Cameron came with the idea of holding referendum to leave the EU, he didn't want to be held accountable or to be blamed. He stepped down, and then Theresa May came, and she stepped down, and then Boris Johnson, and they stepped down. So, as you put it clearly, it's leadership crisis, and it seems that whoever is coming to lead the Conservative Party again, he's going to inherit this burden. It's a heavy burden. There are so many problems, so many crises, and it seems there is no courage for any of those leaders to admit and say, look, for example, you know, um, Brexit was a total disaster. Let's just correct this mistake. It seems it's part of the culture here. They are not willing to admit those grave mistakes. So even if the leadership of the Labour Party came to power, of course they are going to inherit this burden, and it seems they just want to, they might seek uh, help of other political parties to form alliances. Um, but this is the situation. Buying time, autocracy. Things are going very slow. People have got used to this, and if some people call for, kind of popular uprising, it's not going to happen. People here, they are relaxed. There is welfare. They receive their uh, governmental financial support. So I don't think people are going to revolt against this crisis or this leadership crisis. Things will go as normal, very slow process, and we might see more surprises. We might all of a sudden hear that the Truss, who's temporary in her position now until the a new leader comes, maybe she all of a sudden might decide to dissolve the parliament and hold early elections. Who knows?
Well, Yusuf, I must say thank you once again, and we do appreciate you taking time out, talking to us this morning, unpacking what you have. We wish you well, and please take care. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Shukran. Thank you for having me.
That was a journalist and political analyst based in the UK, Yousef Al-Helou, who joined us. And with that, we're going to go for a quick ad break. We come back. We will then wind down the show for this morning.